nurses. It's Lorie Brown, nurse attorney with yournurseattorney.com and empowerednurses.org. And today we are here for the Hey Nurses, What's Next? How 21 nurses became business owners and successful entrepreneurs. So I'm so excited today that we have Renee Thompson. And I love all of the amazing guests that we've had, but Renee has a special spot in my heart. We've known each other for years, like many of the other people, and I'm just thrilled that she says yes, and she's going to share her genius with you. So Renee is the CEO and founder of the Healthy Workforce Institute and works with health care organizations to cultivate a professional workforce by addressing workplace bullying and incivility. She offers a cadre of services from online programs, workshops, and leadership coaching to on-site and virtual assessments and deep dive consulting. So welcome, Renee.
Well, thank you, Lorie. It's exciting to be here. And as you said, we've known each other for a while. And the fact that I know you're in the San Diego area, it's my favorite place in the world because my family, they live there. And it's kind of nice that we bumped into each other a few times along the way. So thank you for inviting me to your show.
I'm thrilled to have you. I'll just share something really funny that I've known Renee, who she was for years, but we hadn't met in person. Mm-hmm. So instead of a drive-by, we did a flyby and met at the airport one time. That was our first meeting. So Renee, I'm thrilled to have you. So if you can share with our audience what type of business you have, a little bit more in depth on what your bio said.
Sure. Well, I've been a nurse for a long time, and about 9 or 10 years ago, I decided that I wanted to do something on my own. And actually I found myself in front of a lot of audiences speaking, and I loved being on stage and got a lot of positive feedback from the audience. And then I thought to myself, other people, they have a speaking business. What makes me any different than them? So I've always been a risk taker. I took a leap of faith, quit a really great job that I actually loved to start my own company. And it really started out as just me being a speaker. I wanted to do keynote presentations. I chose the topic of bullying and incivility because I just couldn't sit back and say, well, that's just the way it is in nursing. I had to do something about it. And from there, my keynote presentations, people were really receptive to them and kept asking me for more. So I started doing workshops and they wanted more. So I did seminars and I hosted my own seminars and they wanted more. And then I started doing some consulting. And I remember the first time somebody asked me to do consulting, I'm like, consulting? I'm not a consultant. But you know what? I figured out a way to make it work. And that's probably where I spend the majority of my time right now is between speaking and consulting. And to meet the needs, meet the demands, I created an online academy. So now I can deliver my content in a virtual medium. And about a year and a half ago now, I was over capacity. I had too many people asking for my services and not enough hours in a day. And so I went from really a personality company to an institute. So now instead of it being Renee Thompson, I am the Healthy Workforce Institute. I have faculty, I have a core team. And as you said in my bio, we offer a cadre of services. And you can't do that if you're by yourself. So yeah, that's what we do right now. I love the people on my team. I love my faculty, and we're out there, really trying to equip, especially healthcare leaders, with the skills and tools that they need to cultivate a healthy workforce by addressing the badness in healthcare.
Oh, that sounds great. You've done amazing things and made such an impact with your books and everything that you do.
Thank you.
What's interesting is we had another speaker as well who changed the name of her business to something more on point of what she really does. And the whole reason is because you're setting up a business to sell rather than just setting it up for your name and who you are. So.
Yeah, and we're still actually in that transition period. So my first business name, and it's still my current parent name, is RT Connections, which stands for my name, Renee Thompson. So RT, I've always been called a connector. And so we called it RT Connections. when we launched the Healthy Workforce Institute, we realized that a lot of my stuff was RT Connections. My email is still RT Connections, on my social media. So we're in the process right now of, we just got the information that we needed to apply for a fictitious name. So we can still keep our parent company name, but be known for the Healthy Workforce Institute when people are sending us checks. We're changing our email to, Renee at healthyworkforceinstitute.com. Not sure about the social media. It's hard to go, it's almost impossible to change your page name. Almost impossible. And so we're going through that right now too. But yeah, we want to be known as a Healthy Workforce Institute. And you bring up a really good point. It's not making decisions based on the company that you have right now. It's making decisions based on the company that you'll have in the future.
Right. You always have to make decisions from the top of the mountain, where you want to go instead of where you are.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, great. And so when you first started working, there came a point where you were going to leave your day job, and what were the fears and what were the conversations in your head?
My God, thank God for my husband, because when I'm like, honey, I have this idea, he was extremely supportive. Most people, when they want to start a speaking company, they don't quit their day job. I quit my day job. And there was a reason behind that. That wasn't my original intent. And I always highly recommend people don't quit your day job. Start your other, the job or the career that you want, the business that you want, little by little, as you're, still getting a paycheck. Well, I was in a corporate position and I wanted to start speaking on the side. It wasn't related to anything that I was, working on. So there's no intellectual property conflict of interest, but let's just say it was made known to me that I couldn't do that. So I'm like, watch me. And so I just became a lot more open to opportunity, and I would get calls from headhunters frequently. And there was an opportunity for me to go to Washington, D.C. for 4 months in an interim leadership role. I lived in Pittsburgh at the time. So that was an easy, 4-hour drive. And I took a leap of faith and took that job. I stayed for 9 months. They would have kept me forever. But while I was there, I was able to start building my business. And so, oh my gosh, yes, sometimes paralyzed with fear. What was I thinking? What am I doing? But you know what, Lorie? I mean, you know this. You have one life. I knew that I was gifted as far as being able to deliver content on stage and help people, make some sense of some of the complexities that are out there. And, I had a strong message. And so I felt that I owed it to myself to at least try until, I had nothing left to give. And I'm very fortunate that it's really worked out well.
Yeah. I really believe that if you're given a desire, you can achieve it.
Yeah.
And that's the same for everybody out there. If you have a desire and you have a message to get out in the world, go for it, because life's too short. We see this every day in our practices.
Yes. I talk to so many nurses who they have this idea, they want to try something. And, how long have you had this idea? 27 years. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you know what I mean? I always say, what have you got to lose? What's the worst thing that can happen? Especially in nursing, you can always get a job. So it's about priming yourself now. Maybe don't buy that extra latte at Starbucks that's, $7 or $8 now. Start putting some money aside for yourself, but then take a leap of faith and just start, because you never know. When I think back on my fears and anxieties of, quitting that great job and, starting this company, I remember sitting there with that little state of panic, many times. And I'm just glad I was able to push through it. And sometimes that panic doesn't go away. I mean, I still have some.
It doesn't, because you now have employees. I've got several mouths to feed before I feed my own.
Yes. Yeah. So it takes it to a whole other level of, I think, anxiety. But you know what? It's so worth it, because Lorie, this, we're the keeper of our own calendars. You know, I don't have to really answer to anyone, well, except for my husband maybe, and yeah, the people who rely on me and my clients. But I feel that starting your own business gives you control over the life that you want to have. And think about, you know, the nurses who are listening to this. You know, I always say, if I can do it, you can do it. Trust me. If I can do it, you can do it.
Exactly, exactly. And you don't need tons of degrees. You just have to have an idea, a passion, a dream, and you can achieve it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but entrepreneurship is not a regular trajectory. It's more of a very jagged edge.
Yes. Lows, absolutely.
but all of the lows are breakthroughs, and you get to learn from them as well.
Yep.
So speaking of the lows, what's the biggest mistake you made in your business, and what'd you learn from it?
There's not just one. There are probably several. I think one of my mistakes is thinking that I can accomplish more than I can. I'm one of these people that I love to sit and make a list of my goals and all the things that I'm going to do. And in a year's time, I'm going to do, 50 things. And the problem is I actually try to do those 50 things. And then you end up doing only half of them. And then you feel guilty and you beat yourself up. And half of them are not done as well as they could have been done if you would have just cut back and focused. So I think one of the biggest mistakes that I've made, and I still have to catch myself and manage myself, is not taking on more projects, not taking on because I get the, shiny object syndrome, I get distracted. It's to really focus on those activities that are going to help bring revenue to my company. It's making decisions based on where's the line to the revenue, because, I could do all of this, but is it contributing to the growth of my company? Might be fun to do that, but it might not be bringing me any revenue. So it's taking on too many projects is definitely my number one. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think that's consistent among most entrepreneurs is we're idea generators. Yes. And everything sounds great. And you were like, oh yeah, let's do this. Let's do that. Let's start the podcast. Let's do the YouTube channel. Let's, speak in 100 stages. It's let's write this book. And it's, you want to do everything. And prioritizing is difficult. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm interviewing 21 nurse business owners in the middle of our busiest time for license renewal. But it's my passion. It's on my heart. And that's where I want to follow. And this is all, of course, for free for everybody. But, sometimes you just have to follow your heart too.
Yes. I mean, there are things that I do. For example, I'll give you a backstory, and it relates to how my business has grown. And I really think how my business has been so successful. When I first started, trying to address bullying and incivility, I focused on nurse to nurse. I wanted to help that bedside nurse who was being bullied by their coworkers, because I had been in that situation. I saw it time and time again. Over time, Lorie, I realized that I love those nurses, but they don't pay my bills. And I'm spending all of this time and energy trying to help the nurse. I kept thinking, where's the leader? So then I completely shifted. And now I spend 90% of my time focused on the leaders. But those bedside nurses that are who are in my community are still important to me. So somebody with only a business view would say, cut them off. They don't add revenue to your company. The only thing they'll do is buy some books. They're not hiring me to speak. They're not hiring me as a consultant. Cut them off. But they're important to me. So I choose to continue to spend my time supporting them, writing for them, creating resources for them, even though I know they don't bring revenue into my company. Like you said, it's my heart that you know, you have to make some decisions. Yeah. Forget the revenue based
Right.
on what's the right thing to do.
But you're also at a bigger, 50-foot view now by
Right.
changing the context of the nursing environment through the top down. So I think that's amazing.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for doing that. And thank you for living in your heart and doing what your purpose is for.
Yeah. I spend my time with the leaders and all of the opportunities for people to call and schedule a call with Renee. And it's all about strategy. They have to be a qualifier and you have to, be interested in my services. But a lot of times it's a nurse who will use that time to tell me her story and to ask for my help. And, I had somebody with my company, she would say, you shouldn't be talking to them. They should be turfed over to someone else. I'm like, I can't do that. How can I say, oh, if you're an individual nurse and you can't hire me, I'm not going to talk to you when you're dealing with bullying. Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, same here. If a person has a legal issue, I can't. I try to educate them the best I can. And that's why I put all this content out there so people have resources.
Right. It's, you can't just turn away people who are asking for your help. Now, you're smart though. It is say, okay, here's some resources for you because I'm not a therapist. I don't have a psychology degree, although it'd be really helpful if I did. Okay. I have a psychology background though. So you try to help them, but yet, have direct them sometimes to some resources. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. So what is, advice would you have for new nurses who want to start their business? Not new nurses, I'm sorry. For nurses who have a desire to start a new business.
I always say, because I've talked to many nurses it always starts with an idea, something that they want to do. I always say, just spend a period of time. I don't know that I can actually tell you what that period of time is. I know that period of time cannot be 27 years though. Okay. Maybe it's like 6 months or even a year, just in an exploratory phase. Explore. Find somebody who's doing what you want to do. Follow them. Read their stuff. If they're speaking somewhere, go and hear them. I know at, the NNBA conference, oh my gosh, so many people come there and they just have an idea and they walk away with a plan. It's part of that, you're exploring your options, but I would just say you have an idea for a business, spend 6 months researching, exploring, finding out other people who have done this. I actually did that, Lorie. I talked to some people who had businesses similar to mine, and they gave me amazing advice. And it was, right when I started my business, but it's finding out what are some of the foundational, strategies and tactics that you have to start with, just like starting an email list, start collecting email addresses. You have to get permission, but start an email list, have one freebie that you send out to people, and then you have to share content on a consistent basis. Even just starting there, once you have an idea of the type of business that you want, find out what other people are doing.
Yeah, and the possibilities are unlimited. I'm only bringing to a very small sample of all of the amazing businesses that nurses have out there.
Yeah, there are so many. And it's funny because when we go to NNBA and I hear what some other people are doing, like, ooh, that's a good idea. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah. Oh, great. Well, you have also been so incredibly generous to give your Healthy Workforce process guide to eradicate bullying and civility. So would you like to share a little bit about that?
Yes. I mentioned earlier about being a consultant. Usually when somebody's a consultant, they have a process, they have a model, a theory that they follow. And when I started, I'm like, I'm not going to say I was just winging it, because I had a sense of how I wanted to handle supporting an organization. But throughout the consulting growth, You know, it was very organic, very grassroots. I identified a 5-step process for addressing disruptive behaviors. And I'm telling you, Lorie, it has worked. Everywhere that I go, when I use this 5-step process, these leaders are able to address the badness, cultivate the goodness, deal with those problem employees, usually the ones who are so clinically competent, but who are mean and nasty. And they follow the process and they walk away after they've done this. And it's not easy to do, but if they follow it, they just feel an overwhelming sense of relief that they know how to handle disruptive behaviors in a way that helps them to feel good about growing, you know, a great team. And it's, I created that little pocket guide just as a quick little reminder. And I actually created it initially for my clients. And I was sharing this at a friend of mine actually posted it because I gave him one. He took a picture of it, posted it on LinkedIn. And then I had an avalanche of people asking me to send them one. And so actually now I have it available as a product that people can go on my website and buy, like in packages of 50. But yep, be more than willing to share it with anybody who wants it. Just a cute little pocket guide.
Well, thank you so much. All these resources are amazing. Everybody has been so generous. So I thank you. And you can find the link next to the video here to get your own pocket guide.
Yay.
So thank you so much. I could talk to you forever because you are so amazing and so interesting. But thank you for all you do for nurses, about taking a stand for what you believe and doing something about it rather than just letting you know, this culture of nurses eat your young, which is, it's got to stop.
It does. And, you know, I'm not the only one out there who is really passionate about this. I'm the only one, though, who has a company devoted to it. And it's because, we have to do a better job, especially in nursing, but in healthcare, because the stakes are so much higher in healthcare because the way we treat someone affects someone's mom or dad or spouse or child or even precious grandbaby. So thank you so much for inviting me to talk about, you know, what it looks like to have a business, especially as a nurse, when a lot of us, when we got into nursing, never even thought that that was possible. So I guess bottom line is not only is it possible, but it can be an amazing career change for you, whether you want to do this completely, you know, on its own, or even make it a part of, you know, part-time or something that you do on the side. And its possibilities are endless.
And look at all 21 of us nurses. We've all done it, and so can you.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Renee, again. Bye for now.
Bye.